First, I'd like to start by, again, thanking the Fort Lauderdale Orchid Society, in particular, Rich. He really has spearheaded this, and we get lots of requests to participate in the program, I'm happy to say, but we were really keen on getting Broward involved in the project in a big way. And with that said, also, we need to thank the Commissioner as well as the City of Fort Lauderdale for also supporting the program. It's key with this type of project that the entire community participate. The Million Orchid Project, it's quite an audacious attempt to repopulate over 1 million orchids, hopefully, back into the urban landscapes of South Florida. It's exceptional in a couple of ways. The first is it's a different twist on traditional conservation, but this is focused directly on the urban landscapes, the places where people live, learn, work, play. And we involve the students, community, and the public directly in every aspect of the restoration process. So the plants we're actually planting today were helped propagated by local students in Miami-Dade County and soon Broward, is directly contributing to not only the beautification, but the actual conservation actions of the project. Kind of the idea for the project started on the other side of the world in Singapore, one of the most densely populated cities in the world. It's in tropic, and they have very few green spaces. But the green spaces they do have, they've maximized the potential there. But we want to check out the laboratories in a precursor for us building our new science village and our laboratories at Fairchild. We wanted to include a micropropagation laboratory. And when we got there, of course, we had you see all the flasks and containers. If you're familiar with orchids, you can see some today. And when you grow orchids, there's an excess. Essentially, they produce thousands, if not millions, of tiny seeds, and when you propagate them in the lab, we can germinate nearly 100%. So you really end up with a surplus of these plants. And what they did is they handed them off to their public work officials. And their park managers, they said, hey, go throw them in the city parks and on the streets, and let's see how they do. And in some cases, some of these urban sites were even better than the natural areas. We thought, hey, why not South Florida? We have our own urban metropolis, subtropical, and our own host of native orchids, which have a rich history culturally and historically in the area. These orchids were once thought of as disposable houseplants. When Flagler built that railroad, records show that they may have been the very first resource to come out of South Florida, even before the cypress timber. There's a direct need to establish these plants again. There are literally very, very few populations remaining in our urban landscapes. And so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to change that as of today. When we leave here today, there will be hundreds of more orchids than there were when we started this project. We've produced well over 200,000 plants in our labs with the help of students and volunteers, and we've installed over 140,000 in the landscapes of Miami-Dade and beyond. We're far away from that million, but we will keep chugging along as long as we continue to develop partnerships with folks like the Fort Lauderdale Orchid Society, and we will keep pushing until we reach our goal of 1 million orchids back into the landscapes. Thank you.